Next up, it's our second of 4 races this weekend, second of the day at least, to close out their Saturday for the BRSCC Fiesta Junior Championship. And of course, the cars heading out now to see if they can live up to that brilliant first race. It was nice and clean, competitive, and all around good fun to watch. So the grid here is set by the second fastest times in qualifying, so it's not by the results of race number 1, which means then that for the grid at least, it shows Deacon Fairclough once again on pole position and Jensen Brickley back alongside him on the second row of the grid. It's then Sid Smith and James Wallace on the second row ahead of Alex Lee and Jake Maynard. Then it's Albert Webster and Harry Garman who round off row number 4. Then move into the bottom end of the top 10, where we see George Davis in 9th and Daniel Lewis in 10th from Jake Triggs and Alex Sprange. Then Joseph Knight and James Pope and Archie Handy, who will start at the back of the grid as well once more, I think, as a virtue of that 10-second delay due to, I think, a possible technical infringement from qualifying. So that's the grid. All 15 cars are still ready and raring to go. Let's look back quickly input whilst we on the formation app to go through the classification of that for the championships. We'll give you some possible live scores here. So Deacon Fairclough pretty much took the Grand Slam there. So he took 53 points in that first race, which means that he continues to lead the championship. So James Wallace picked up 46 points from that from that first race. Jensen Brickley would have picked up 42 from that third one. Sid Smith would have done 38 because he had finished 4th. And then it was 38 and 36 for Jake Maynard, who came into the weekend 3rd in points. Alex Lee then would have picked up 34. And looking at some other drivers down here that I can put in points for. Joseph Knight sadly DNF'd, but I think it looks like he's on the grid, so that's good to see that he is he's there racing this week, racing that one. So looking at the top sort of 5-6 drivers adding up their points at the moment from that one, it then shows me out of all that result that we've still got Deacon Fairclough leading the way in the championship with 244 points. Jensen Brickley's now moved up to 207, so he's a little bit roughly still same gap now. He's dropped a few in that first round. It's then Jake Maynard who is remaining in 3rd. Alex Lee's currently it's Sid Smith is now 4th, 2 points ahead of Alex Lee. Because Sid Smith, with their virtue of that result, it's put him now into 4th with 166 points compared to Alex Lee on 164. So a few more drivers down there will have moved up as well. But also in there too will have moved up is James Wallace, because he's now got on 150 points after that second place from that first race earlier on. So up they come to start this second race of the weekend. And the hope is for these guys, they will be looking to, again, use this as a stepping stone into touring cars or GTs, or in the case of drivers like Joseph Loken, and also Nat Hodgkiss in recent times, even single-seaters as well, which is always quite a dream for them to move up. And of course, it's great to see, we spoke about at the beginning of the first race, Joseph Loke moving up to British F4. We've, of course, had touring car graduates such as Aidan Moffat and Bobby Thompson, and now, of course, as of this week, we talked about earlier on, Jack... I've forgotten his surname for some reason, but I'm sure it'll come to me. Jack Mitchell, that's it, Jack Mitchell, who was, of course, former British GT4 champion and now, of course, getting his first shot in British touring cars. And, of course, other drivers that have gone through to TCR and to Brit Car and to all sorts of top championships and driven in Europe and other championships in touring cars and GTs across the continent. So it really has been a fantastic breeding ground for brilliant young talent in motorsport from the UK. I'm sure we get more of the same here this afternoon and this year and the years to come. So all the cars are lined up and ready to go. We're all set for the second race of the weekend for the BRSCC Fiesta Junior Championship here at Snetterton. Fairclough and Brickley on the front row of the grid again. Who's going to win the sprint down towards Richie's corner? But it might not be Brickley because he got a pretty poor start from the front row of the grid. Fairclough got a great start from the pole positions. They head down towards the first corner. And again from the second row, it's going to be James Wallace will go side by side with his teammate, and he can take the lead. He has. Round the outside into the lead goes James Wallace on Deacon Fairclough. Jensen Brickley also gets through. A bit of a tap in the side there. I think possibly that was Jake Maynard getting a tap from Albert Webster there, I think, but managed to survive. But James Wallace with a mega move at the start for the second row of the grid to again get a fantastic launch and take the lead with Deacon Fairclough around the outside of Richie's corner. Brilliant stuff from James Wallace. He's now firmly locked in possibly for a lead battle here with Deacon Fairclough if he can stay there for the next 15 minutes. So they all seem to have got through just about safely through the Wilson hairpin through Palmer's for the first time. Now they come down towards the hairpin at Agostini. Battle on for third now between Sid Smith on the inside in the 99 car, number 246 Jensen Brickley. Back up the inside for Malik goes Deegan Fairclough. So the pole sitter is back in front of the man he battled with for Malik. But not quite, because James Wallace holds on around the outside. A little bit of fisticuffs, but they're going to sort it out pretty quickly. And Wallace is back in front now. We've got a race in our hands here, ladies and gentlemen, between these two at the front. Deegan Fairclough going for it. Big dive up the inside into Oggies. That's a touring car move, isn't it? Brilliant pass from Deegan Fairclough. If he can stay there on the exit, which he does, so he covers off the line. He's now going to force James Wallace to come back at him through Williams and all, even in the slipstream, down towards the complex of Nelson. So down the back straight they go then. This will start to take the slipstream, taking the Deegan Fairclough and possibly try and make a move. If he tries to go inside or outside, it might not work. Fairclough moved once, but he can't move again now as Wallace dummies to the inside line. If you can sweep across before the braking zone's done for Brundle Nelson, you might well take the lead exit in the complex. Into Nelson, Fairclough holds on, bumps the curb and goes round the outside over the curb on the exit. Wallace squeezes his way up the inside line there, side by side into the bomb hole. Wallace has trap position, Fairclough lets him have it, or just about he does. And so looks round the outside. He's stuck round the outside of the bomb hole. That should be impossible. Into Coram, side by side into Coram on the first lap. Brilliant stuff from the Fiesta Jimmys on the opening lap here. Jensen Brickley up to third. It's now Swift Sam Smith. A little bit of contact, but they're going to hold on just about under brakes. Somehow getting it stopped and Deegan Fairclough's back in front again. What a brilliant league battle this is. They haven't even completed the first lap yet, and they're going out like it's the last lap. Brilliant stuff. So side by side between Wallace and Fairclough as they charge down the pit straight. Wallace gets back into the lead and leads the first lap across the line. So Wallace leads in. It's Fairclough in second place, Brickley third, Smith fourth, Alex Deans in fifth position, Jake Triggs in sixth, Webster, Garman, Davis and Pope round out the top 10. This is going to set the tone for the rest of the race. Strap in. This could be a belter, possibly the best race of the season so far. Into the Wilson hairpin. Wallace leads, but he's gone too deep on the apex. He's lost his line. He's lost first and also second. And Jensen Brickley's gone past both of them. They went effectively three abreast, quite a wide three abreast into Wilson hairpin because there's lots of road on the exit, all the way through. And Jensen Brickley saw them both running wide, snuck up the inside and says, "Thank you very much. I'll take the pair of you," and send straight into the lead. I think this could be going on for quite a while, ladies and gents. They come down towards the hairpin at Agostini's for the second time. Brickley just taking a slightly more defensive line down towards the hairpin because he knows that Fairclough will try and attack, and Fairclough is quite a fighting young driver. Any chance he spots, obviously, I'm sure he obviously calculates it in his head first, but any chance he spots that's realistic enough to pass, he does go for it and try and make a move. And James Wallace has gone through. Honestly, they're at it again, these two. James Wallace sticks his nose up the inside and says, "Surprise, Deegan, I'm going back up the inside for second." Here comes Sid Smith to try and get his nose involved. He does. Almost touches the side of Wallace's car, but he has to back out and possibly try and get through on the run out of Oggies towards Williams. We'll be out of breath at this rate. There's so much great racing going on with these guys. There is in the trade price cars delivery machine, number 76. Championships. The other battle between these cars for second downwards is just letting the leader, who's currently Jensen Brickley, pull away in front now. So they have to realise they've got to work together and try to pull him back towards them. Otherwise, they're only going to be fighting for second best, and no one wants that in that group towards the back of them. So out of the complex at Brundle and Nelson, top 5 all together in the line. I think now that Deegan Fairclough and James Wallace have realised we need to stop fighting, otherwise none of us are going to have a chance of winning this race. So now I think that Wallace has backed off a little bit. He's saying, right, you go and chase him, Deegan, and we'll come with you. So, and they are starting to close in now, so Deegan's now starting to reel him back in pretty quickly now. So out through Murray's, still Brickley will lead the second lap. So 2 different leaders in the space of 2 laps. So they come down the pit straight towards the end of completion of lap number 2. Top 5 altogether as they go across. Brickley, Fairclough, Wallace, Smith, Lee. Jake Triggs is up to P6. Good start from him so far. 7th for Webster, 8th for Garman, under pressure from George Davis. 10th for Jake Maynard. Then it's Pope, Lewis, Sprange. Then I think that's the back, it's possibly Daniel Lewis, I think. So he's got some ground to make up from rear of the field. As has also, sorry, it's Archie Handy, I think he's in 14th place. And who's back, hasn't made it out. Joseph Knight didn't make it out, sadly. So it looks like he's sat out this second race to try and fix the car for tomorrow, which is a shame, but of course it gives him more time rather than being so compressed to try and get it out for the second race, and give him something more than just a quick fix. So here's Harry Garman then, under threat from George Davis as they turn into the left-hander at Palmer's. It's slightly off camber through Palmer's, so you have to be very careful on the exit. Not to move through. Oh, it's a problem for Deegan Fairclough. Deegan Fairclough on the left-hand side of car 87's got a problem. Oh, that's a shame for Deegan. He was looking so strong in that first race and challenging for the lead in the second, and looks like something mechanically has gone wrong with the 87 car. Everyone starts streaming past him. Hasn't come into shot just yet. There goes Archie Handy. Oh, poor Deegan. That's the championship leader in trouble. So that will have to be a drop round for him, I'm afraid. But Deegan Fairclough's car almost crawling to a halt. He'll have to pull the car to the right-hand side off the grass. That's such a shame. He was looking for his 4th win of the season, but I'm afraid it's not going to happen on this occasion unless there's a safety car to bunch the field back up again. That's a real shame. What it now does is it now frees up Jenson Brickley to carry on with his lead, and James Wallace now assumes the role of leading the group for 2nd place. It's now Wallace for 2nd now, Smith for 3rd. Lee will be up to 4th place and Triggs into 5th position. So everyone else, of course, moves up a spot now that Deegan Fairclough's out. Oh dear. Well, he's got the car going again, but it's not enough to get it back going racing because his race and phrase over. This isn't over though, because Alan Webster's bounding over the grass on the exit of the corner, tries to find his way back onto the circuit, finds George Davis to his inside, who also slips through. Now we saw the aftermath of that. I don't know if there was any contact. It might look so that Jake Maynard just showed his nose to Albert Webster, and Albert Webster might have jumped out of the way and found himself on the grass. Not voluntarily, of course, but found himself just running wide as a result of trying to make room for a hard-charging Maynard. So they're all trying to chase Harry Garman now when they come across the line. So Brickley then, he's been chased down by James Wallace, who, again, hasn't won a race so far yet, but he came close in race number 1. And on the last lap, took the fastest lap of the race, 2 minutes 23.154, and he's exactly 4/10ths quicker than Jenson Brickley. So this could be another great lead scrap here in the Fiesta Junior Championship between Jenson Brickley and James Wallace. There goes James Pope in the purple True sponsored car. A couple of cars running wide, very wide. In fact, lots of dust being kicked up there from the cars in front of them. Might have been Jake Maynard, possibly even Harry Garman. But if it was Garman, he's getting back to his roots in junior rallycross as George Davis slides horrendously wide at the hairpin. But he'll get back on track once again quickly. But he's lost out to Albert Webster again. So looking down the outside, having a look into Palmer's number left-hander. Webster holds firm, but Davis, if he's strong enough, he might go around the outside. I think he has gone around the outside. He's done it. Fantastic stuff. George Davis had enough grip on the outside line to just sail around the outside and goes, thank you very much, Albert. Back into position he goes. So that's now 8th position for Davis, back ahead of Webster. There's Archie Handy back in 13th place on the grid. Fantastic battling all through the pack of the juniors. This is just how competitive it is as a junior championship. Lots of battling at the front, in the mid-pack and towards the rear. Everyone's got someone to race with, and everyone's thoroughly enjoying themselves out on track here. It's wonderful, clean but intense, fantastic fun racing. Just exactly the kind of things the Fiesta Junior Championship stands for, and is certainly aiming to achieve in this championship. That's a problem, or just running wide with Albert Webster, so keep an eye on that if he continues on, because Albert Webster's car, the A&D machine, was certainly running wide and was putting too long into the grass on the entrance towards Williams. So that really suggests he's simply just run wide, and that's a problem. He's kept going. He just came through in the into the shot just as we switched cameras. So he carries on, albeit with a bit of possibly wavered there. Maybe he ran wide on the exit, or he's just got himself back onto the road. George Davis then continues to pursue. His next pursuit is now of Jake Maynard, as the leaders come through into the left-hander at Murray's. Now, lap time-wise, I'm going to watch this carefully because last time by, the fastest out of the top 3 was James Wallace. Now, whether or not that's the case again, we'll have to wait and see. Here come the top 3 across the line then. So, Brickley, Wallace, and then Smith. Lap times are... So it's a personal best for Jenson Brickley, but he was still slower by about half a tenth than James Wallace. So the gap is now half a second between the blue and yellow machine of Jenson and he ran wide on the exit of Richie's corner, feeling the pressure. I was about to say half a second between Jenson Brickley and James Wallace. It's a bit closer to that now, but you can tell that Jenson Brickley's trying to push here because he's using all the track and a little bit more to try and stay in front. And now they make their way out of the Wilson hairpin, named after, of course, the late Justin Wilson, who sadly lost his life in an IndyCar incident at Pocono. And a fitting tribute for that hairpin that used to be called Montreal after the hairpin on the Montreal Grand Prix circuit. And now out of Palmer's, named after Dr. Jonathan Palmer himself. Into Agostini's, which is named after motorcycle legend Giacomo Agostini. So, out of the hairpin they go. And Wallace now is as close as he's ever been now. Brickley's now to start looking in his mirrors here because he might well have to think about getting his elbows out for the first time this weekend. Found himself in the lead, but Wallace, who, don't forget, was on the tail of Deegan Fairclough for the majority of race number 1, and showed that he had a bit more pace than Jensen in that one. I wonder if it's more the same this time, but now it's Wallace doing the pursuing of Brickley, who finds himself in the lead. Because he would dearly love to take his 3rd win of the season. He can, though. It's not going to help. It's going to kill his momentum onto the back straight. He's kept his foot in, though, so if he's not steady, he's minimal. So down towards the complex of Brandon Nelson. Wallace looks to the outside, but he might try and save the dummy. Towards Brandon Nelson, looking one way then the other, but Brickley shuts the door every time he looks. Down towards the complex, through the sweeping left-hander of Brundle, the sharp right-hander of Nelson. Little sort of wave as the car moves around behind him. Sid Smith was pushing too. He thumped the curb on the inside of Nelson, taking all of it a bit more in proper true two-wheel touring car style. Brilliant stuff at the front. And there's only, you always forget the time's going by. It's only a 15-minute race. There's 3¼ minutes still to go. So we're going to get this, I think, 1 more lap to go, because the laps are about 2 minutes 23. So we've got 2 more laps of this then. And Brickley starting to feel a little bit more pressure, corner by corner, from James Wallace, who, if he can manage this, could be on course, if he can get around Jensen Brickley, for his first Fiesta Junior win. Down the pit straight. There's a 5-second penalty going out. Oh, it's for James Wallace. A 5-second penalty for track limits for James Wallace. So the chance of his victory now, I'm afraid, unless he gets in front and pulls away by at least 5 seconds, I'm afraid, has been snatched away from him due to track limits. Oh dear. Well, that's another driver that was due a podium that's possibly going to be unfortunately robbed of it by a time penalty, because we had that with Ross McCarr earlier on in the previous race in the City Car Cup, and it's happened here again. This time in the Fiesta Junior Championship. So what it now means is Jensen Brickley, whatever happens, looks as though he's on course to take his 3rd win of the season. And while James Wallace will finish 2nd on the road if he stays where he is, I'm afraid he's going to drop behind Sid Smith. So it means that, I think at the moment it looks as though, what's the gap between Smith and Lee? Right, it's 5.6 seconds. So if it stays as it is, Wallace will still finish 3rd. It'll be his 2nd podium of the week, of the day, and of the weekend. Because, of course, remember, they've got 2 more races tomorrow and another qualifying session. So they'll have 2 more races to add another 2 more sets of points onto the tally. But that's a real shame for James Wallace. I'm pretty sure he'll look back at the data and see where he was using track limits a little too much and decide to readjust his strategy for tomorrow. This man, Jensen Brickley, certainly looks as though he's going to try and take the fight here and gain some valuable points over Deegan Fairclough if he holds on. James Wallace will still take the extra bonus points for the fastest laps. That'll be a comfort. I think he will give him just as many points that he would have scored for 2nd place without a fastest lap, because you get 2 points for a fastest lap, and he would get 40, no, he'd be 2 points shy of that. I'm trying to work it out in my head. So it's 50 points for a win, 46 for 2nd, and 42 for 3rd. So if James Wallace does end up 3rd with that penalty, then he will, in fact, get 44 points, because there'll be 42 for the 3rd place after the time penalty is applied, and then 2 points for the fastest lap. So he only loses really 2 from what he would be scoring in this position. So up through the right-hander of Coram. I'll come on to the last lap shortly with about roughly, I'd say, 25 seconds or so left on the clock. And the top 3 looking pretty much static as they were at the moment. Still Brickley, Wallace, who will of course drop down the order. In Sid Smith will gain the points for 2nd place. Behind them, we should mention Alex Lee is currently holding on to 4th position. 5th for Jake Trigg, 6th for Jake Maynard, 7th for George Davis, 8th for Harry Garman, 9th for James Pope. Good effort from James Pope, actually. One of his best results, best races so far, in 9th place. Daniel Lewis also impressing too, in possibly looking at his first top 10 if he can bring it to the finish. It's Alex Spranger up in 11th place. Good progress from him so far. Webster's in 12th, Archie Handy's 13th. And of course, the one car we don't have, I'm afraid, is the champ leader, Deegan Fairclough, who retired early on with the mechanical issue that he suffered. But I'm sure he'll bounce back and be fighting fit to rebound tomorrow in the 2 races that we have on the timetable. So last lap through Palmer's for the final time. And I think Wallace might well see that he's got 2nd place, got the time penalty. So if he has seen it, he'll know that trying to attack Jensen's not going to make too much of a difference, because even if he passes him, he'd have to pull away in 1 lap, or hope for some kind of a mistake that sees the likes of Brickley and Smith drop back by at least 5 seconds in order for him to hold on to the victory if he was able to inherit it. But it's highly unlikely that's going to happen. And again, this is motorsport, and anything can happen, and it usually does. So, he argues for the final time. Jenson Brickley, in that striking blue and fluorescent yellow livery. He starts champion. Rated that performance the circuit, debuted last year. Took him a little bit to get up to speed, but once he did, he certainly was able to prove his pace, got his first podium towards the end of last season. And of course, this year, he started off well. He had a bit of an up and down start. He had a hairy moment at Croft in the wet when he had pulled off a full, complete 360-degree spin on the approach to the sunny corners. It was one of the best pieces of junior car control I've ever seen. And so, certainly, he is a potential tin top star in the making. But of course, he makes his own destiny, as does everyone else in this championship. And he certainly took go the right way about, putting himself in contention to move up the higher ranks and put himself as an aim for the future. He heads in through Coram for the final time. Will get it braked, stopped, and turned in for Murray for the final time. He'll nail the throttle to the floor and head towards the checkered flag. So out of the championship contenders, it's going to be one apiece between them, because it's going to be a victory for Deegan Fairclough in race 1. And despite closing in at the end of race number 2, it's going to be a victory for Jenson Brickley, his third of the season, as he wins race 2 at Snetterton, the Fiesta Junior Championship. A second on the road for James Wallace, but he will drop to third in the end, because it was Sid Smith who will get up there as a result of the 5-second penalty. So it's Wallace who will drop to second. It's Smith who will drop to third. Smith will get second. Lee gets fourth. Jake Triggs gets a top 5 finish with Jake Maynard. 7th place for George Davis. 8th for Harry Garman. 9th for James Pope, one of his best results of the season. And 10th for Daniel Lewis, followed by Alex Sprague, 11th place. So I think he will just hold on ahead of Albert Webster for 11th and 12th place. Here comes Alex. It's a nice haul of points for him today so far, after his misfortunes at Alton Park when he debuted for the season. And Archie Hanley also makes it home as well. Of course, we didn't get Deegan Fairclough in the end after his retirement. And Joseph Knight also we lost from the start of the second race because of the mechanical problem that took him out of race number 1, unfortunately. So let's clarify the result then. So it should be, as a virtue of the time penalty, it should be Jenson Brickley who wins, and it should be then Sid Smith in second place and James Wallace in third, because the gap between third and fourth was Wallace and Alex Lee was 8.1 seconds. So he won't have dropped off the podium. He'll just swapped places with Smith for second and third. So it should be Brickley your winner, Smith in second place, Wallace in third, then it's Lee, Triggs, Maynard, Davis, Smith, Sutton Davis, Garman, Pope and Lewis in the top 10. And yes, now that penalty has been applied, and it is correct. So Sid Smith does get second place, James Wallace is demoted to third, but he does keep his place on the podium because that 5-second penalty only loses him 5 of the 8-second advantage he had over Alex Lee at the end, which means that he stays on that third place and gets another trophy. So great stuff from the BRSCC Fiesta Junior Championship. They'll be back tomorrow for their qualifying session, and then 2 more races to round out their busiest weekend ever in championship history. Of course, they usually have 2 races a weekend. This weekend they've got 4 here at Snetterton, the equivalent of essentially 2 one-day meetings with qualifying sessions on each day to set both. But all in the pit lane and ready to go, and I'm sure that Jenson Brickley will be delighted with that victory. And he's had a quick chat there with Ian Waterhouse and My Supercar. Of course, he's also here doing some coverage for the Fiesta Junior Championship as well. And there is Jenson Brickley, being quite content with that victory. And he's down there with Josh Barrett, who'll be able to have a chat with our top 3 down in the Park family with our winners for the second Fiesta Junior Championship race.
So our second Fiesta Junior race of the day, it was quite lively at the start, and Jenson came out on top. Well done, Jenson. You were third. You make a good start again. Actually, it worked out this time.
Yeah, I know. It was an all right start, but it wasn't as good as a few of the others.
Yeah.
I caught them back up this time. I was within reaching range this time instead of them just getting away. And then they made a few mistakes, which I was able to capitalise on and caught them back up, went past them, and then I think Deegan had an issue, and he dropped off, which gave me a bit of a gap.
That's all good for the championship as well. Your main rival not finishing, I guess.
Did he not finish? Yeah.
No,
all right. That's good.
And a good way to end the day, because early on you were a little bit disappointed with third, but a win is a perfect way to bounce back.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
And you were saying about it being hot out there. Did that affect you over this 15-minute race?
Well, I feel really hot, but you don't feel it when you're out there. It's only when you stop.
And now tomorrow might be a completely different day.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well done on your win. So our race winner there, Jensen Brickley. Second place was Sid Smith after the penalty though for James Wallace. So we'll grab a word with Sid Smith, who was in this greenrecycling.co.uk car, in just a moment. So we're grabbing our word with Sid Smith. Sid, you end up finishing second because of James's penalty, and you're right in that lead battle.
I got off to an alright start, not the best, but got back in the mix, and then once Deegan unluckily had an issue, I was up there with the podium fight, and luckily ended out in second after the track limit penalty.
Quite a lot happened in that race. There was lots of battling up front, so I guess you had a good view of all that.
Yeah, definitely. I thought it was going to take each other out at any point, but I'm really pleased with P2. Really helps in championship, a lot of points, and I'm really happy with that. Yeah.
The Fiesta Junior Championship's really grown this year, really competitive as well. So it's really enjoyable to be a part of it, I should think.
Yeah, definitely. A couple of years ago, it was like 4 cars, and it was just not as public as it is now. Now it's like a really good grid, good drivers, and it's really, really good racing. So I'm really happy I'm still here.
And now we've got to look forward to 2 more races tomorrow, a really busy weekend.
Yes, we are tiring and hot weekend, but there's some rain on the way for tomorrow, hopefully, so some more results, yeah.
Obviously Fiesta Juniors had that really wet race at Croft. It might be a similar case tomorrow. How do you enjoy them conditions?
Oh, I love the rain. In that wet race, I got from P10 to P3, so I love the wet. Yeah, I don't mind any conditions.
Good luck with that.